welcome to Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. This is part 2 of a 2-part. So if you didn't catch part 1, go ahead and listen to that and we pick up straight off from where we left. I'm talking to Fernanda about natural skincare and she shares a little bit more about the products that she is sharing with the world and they sound amazing. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions and let's get straight back into it.
Yeah, and I can see your skin looks very well looked after, so congratulations. But on that point, on the essential oils, if I can mention to you,
Yeah.
I've had a very interesting reaction to that. So in my basic range when I started, where it was just 9 products, I introduced essential oils, but in a low concentration, what we call below the dermal limits, because each essential oil is composed of molecules. Some of them that are toxic, some of them that just stimulate. Some, these are the aromatics. That's why they are they have an impact on you. And what was interesting is that a lot of people are now confusing having very well proportioned percentages of essential oils in products with people that just use essential oils neat, because we should never do that. They should always be used in a dilution form.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there are a lot of people over the years that have used them neat and obviously have had some form of reaction. So there's a kind of a backlash. And what I've found is fascinating. There's a vitriolic response from between those that like essential oils and those who don't. And so I'm now in a position where I can't deal with this, so I'm going to deal my way. I'm moving my range to completely aromaceutical free, no essential oils. However, I will provide little diluted cocktails of the essential oil blends that I used to have in the cleanser or in the moisturizers. And then people that want to have essential oils can put a drop in the product and they will never exceed. And it just creates that aroma. It's no question that I think the aromas are part of the uplifting thing that lifts the soul, lifts the spirit, makes you feel good. Products without the essential oils work just as well, no question.
Yeah.
But they do smell like waxes and like nutty oils.
Yeah,
And
some oils as well. I'm careful with some oils that you can
a
just
little
smell
bit
when
a little bit pungent, aren't they?
yeah, too
Not
fake. Yeah. You can
yeah,
tell
and you
it's
can
perfume. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it's so I'm now moving to that position because it's literally a case of having to please both sides of the market. And that's the realm of a company. I don't like to see us as small, but that's what we are. We're a boutique company. So we have the ability to do that. But it's quite sad that it all comes from misunderstanding. If people understood, okay, look, the coconut oil is good for these types of conditions versus macadamia for something else, or chamomile extract versus cucumber extract, or any other extract. If they understood that it's not slap, 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 oh, and I must put this serum and that, I mean, you're so caked. All you need is literally what you've said. You need 3 products. You need a good cleanser. Okay, you don't like, but cleanse your face once a day. You don't need to go twice. Okay, so, but you don't like to use a cleanser. Okay, you can actually use a good face cloth with warm water and just wipe. You can take your makeup off even if you wear makeup off. Is it quick? No. It takes a few goes, warm water, And the
Yeah.
other thing is, Joanne, what I always say, and people kind of, some people get a bit funny. I always say, whenever you apply something to your skin, be it a product or you're using a towel, please make love to your skin. And I mean it. I'm not saying it in a sexual way at all, just to clarify. But it's really a case. Use your hands, use the palms or the back of your
Yeah.
hand and flow and flow and flow. When people
It's that
rub
lymphatic
hard,
drainage to,
yeah, absolutely up. And when
yeah,
people rub, what you're doing is, it's obvious you are rubbing, you are bruising your
yeah,
skin underneath. You're rubbing, it goes red. Why do you
yeah,
want to do that? It's
yeah,
just, it's dumb. You don't need to be an Einstein to work that up. So you can use a cloth, but then what you need to do is to use a moisturizer, whatever moisturizer takes your fancy. We have one that is a very bland moisturizer that's good for sensitive skins. And then the other thing is, yes, do use a sunscreen product. And that is because I know Justin mentioned that the sun doesn't cause cancer. Uh, it does. It actually does, especially people. You're an English rose, even though you have dark hair. You're
yeah,
definitely an English rose. So be careful.
yeah,
I've got
yeah.
another layer of melanin on my skin. And by the way, between you and I, and someone who is an African Black person, we it's interesting. We have about the same amount of melanin, but the black people produce it more regularly. So I'm somewhere in between.
Ah, okay.
So
I
you
just
have melanin, but it
have,
doesn't
yeah,
get regenerated quite as
yeah,
regularly until you would be very unfortunate to get some sort of melanoma type um,
yeah, yeah,
lesion, and then all sorts of things change because the genetic basis changes the way your physiology works. So that's one thing that I thought I'll
estrogen.
just tell you. I didn't agree with Justin, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I
What did
use, and
you
as well, just looking again at the chemicals as well in sun cream. So now my mineral sun cream without all of the chemicals does the job.
Yeah.
Because there's so many out there, and when you read the labels and if you know the ones that you're looking for, sun cream, maybe the most important cream that we're putting on, is the most heavily chemical laden
So
cream.
for a sunscreen, you need to have a sunscreen that has a broad UV range protection. And the most natural and the most difficult one to work with because it's quite dense and the best is zinc oxide. So you
That's
need to
what
have a
my,
product with zinc oxide.
yeah,
Sometimes what the manufacturers do is that they mix a bit of titanium dioxide with it, and that's okay. But you don't want to have the fluid, those sunscreens that are like oil that glide so well. They have a lot of
yeah,
slip. Those are very easily absorbed on your skin and they will deposit into waste reducing organs like the kidneys and the liver. And they defeat the purpose of a sunscreen. A sunscreen is meant to be a mirror on your skin. So it's actually meant to be just slightly glowing. You don't need to be ghosty white, but
yeah,
glowing. But if you have something that floats in your bloodstream, it's not protecting you at all. So
yeah,
zinc oxide, very important. But don't use nano zinc. So the reason why nano zinc is so small, that's why it's nano, it falls in between the pores, so it gets absorbed as well. It won't harm you,
yeah.
but it's not doing what it's
Not
meant to
doing the
do.
job. Yeah.
Exactly.
I will check mine. I know mine is zinc. So it's beef tallow, zinc, and coconut oil.
Okay, yes.
That's
Yeah.
all that's on the label.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a natural one.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's thick, and to look at you'd think,
Yes,
oh my gosh. But
it
then
is.
it actually rubs in really nice. And obviously
Yeah.
again,
It
you
just
know that, yeah. So how do you feel when you're watching these I'm going to use air quotes, the skincare videos that we see on social media where there's a double cleanse and there's heavy, that basically all of the things. And I watch them
Rubbish,
sometimes like a 20 step. I'm
rubbish.
scrolling on Instagram sometimes, yeah, my 20-step skincare routine. And I'm just
No,
like,
no, no, it's totally unnecessary. Hey, look, the other thing, Joanne, think about it. We, I'm assuming you and look, I'm making a big assumption here. Um, you and I think we kind of the average person, whatever average
yeah,
means. We're certainly not royalty.
yeah,
We don't. We're not Sloanes. Like the Sloanes. We're not them, and we're not the dreg of society. We're somewhere in between, which means we end up being multitaskers. So we do
mm,
lots of stuff. So the time that we have for ourselves between family, friends, work, whatever, charities, community is minuscule.
yeah,
So I'll show you something here that is so in here you can see on this picture. Can you see my A? So my A
yes,
is the abbreviation for Azurli, and we have two ranges. But what I wanted to show in the A is that we are buried at the bottom of the A because everything piles on us.
yeah,
What we would like to do is to feel good, to feel like a goddess.
yeah.
Stop, because even if we do that for 5 seconds, it's important. Now, who on earth has the time to use 20 step
But
routines in the morning and the evening when, I don't have small kids anymore, but I've had them in the past. But imagine having, Mom, what about this? Where's my school lunch? It just doesn't work like that. So, and at the end of the day, look, let's accept something. From the time we are born, we are aging. Okay, it's just we don't see it like that because you get a baby, a
yeah,
toddler, child, teenager, young adult, mature adult, more mature adult, more mature adult. And it's until you go into a box. And the other thing is that so you cannot possibly stop this progression. And when you come to a point where you are quite elderly, some people have better genes than others. But
mm,
what research has shown is that actually your genes are not just what determine how you look or how you think. Your environment does as well, by as much as up to 25%. So if you surround yourself in a good environment that is calming, relaxing,
mm,
and you accept the fact that, yes, we do age. And by the way, I don't believe in aging gracefully. I think we need to age perfectly. And that
yeah,
perfectly it's being who we are, how we are, because whether look, I'm 67, so but I still feel like 27 inside
yeah,
my head. But of course, I don't look like 27. I don't pretend to be 27. I don't want to put stuff on my face to be 27. But I'd like to have stuff on my face that is simple, that doesn't harm the environment, doesn't harm me, so,
yeah,
but it feels good. And knowing that, yes, I am aging, but I can think of times when I was 20 or 30 and I thought, oh, yeah, I did some funny things. Youth is wasted on the young. We know that. But I can laugh at it. I can
mm,
laugh and I can enjoy, and I can talk to people and say, look, you can do something about it without feeling artificial. Like you and Justin were talking about all these bodies that have all this, muscle and things. Hey, you know, just have an ordinary body. You don't need to have excesses one way or another.
yeah,
But whatever you do, um, love whatever you do and do what you love
yeah,
yourself, look after yourself, and enjoy the wrinkles. Sometimes the wrinkles are part of the gift that you've given the world,
yeah,
and that's a privilege.
yeah,
Think of someone like someone that you'd probably relate being English, Princess Diana. She died too young.
Yeah.
So she's forever young. We never know
Yeah.
what she would look like where she's 70. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's sad, because she could have had so many sort of good experiences in the rest of her life. And like her, any ordinary person, I'm just saying her because
Yeah.
it was so, I was in labor with my second child when she died. And I was sort of, what?
What a memory.
And how I heard there's all these people in the maternity, they were screaming. And I said to the midwife, why are they screaming? Oh, Princess Diana just died, just died. It was, they were so upset.
Yeah.
But it just comes apropos. Enjoy your wrinkles, enjoy who you are as you are moving in the journey. But there's nothing wrong in looking after yourself. Okay, if you've got $50,000, go and spend it on a facelift, maybe on a nice holiday.
Yeah. Go and see the world. Go. Yes. Yeah.
Do you see what it's all relative,
Yeah.
but then you make choices. Use your head to use your heart to make choices. Use your soul to make choices.
Yeah.
And your energy will come through you and will help you. And I think the products do too, because you are working in a kind of a concerted effort. Um, and another thing that I'll tell you why, just coming back, why am I an artist? As a kid, and we had a very average family, and there wasn't much money for presents, so there were simple presents that I gave my friends or family, but I used to wrap them in a very complicated way, and showing my artistry in a number of ways. I love wrapping, and how we are battling the system nowadays. We're going to get rid of all the boxes in our products. We just wrap them with face cloths. So you use the
Oh.
face cloths. So there's a picture in our website banner. Why? Because you have a face cloth wrapped like a rose or like a fleur de lis.
Yeah.
So it's something
I love
special.
that. Yeah.
It's not as beautiful as getting an Apple computer box, but hey,
It's useful.
it is exactly. So it's called packaging with a purpose.
Yeah.
You use
It's not
it as a
wasteful.
face
You're
cloth.
going. Yeah. You're going to use, like, what do we do with the boxes? We leave. Well, for me, I'll save them for a month just to make
Well,
sure whatever it doesn't
is
break.
right.
And I have to send it back, and then
Yeah.
it goes into the recycling wherever that
Yeah.
goes. Who
And that's
knows?
it's such a waste. So with the face cloth, use it as a face cloth, and it comes beautifully wrapped. It looks like a rose. The taller bottles look like a fleur de lis, and I love putting it together. And everyone will be slightly different, but that is just because that's how it is.
Yeah.
Then, but to come back, you use it as a face cloth, use it as a floor cloth, as a window cloth.
Yeah.
It's cotton unbleached, no colors. And when it's absolutely bedraggled, it's compostable. Put it in your compost bin.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
But it's
That's,
sort of like it goes against the grains. I was
yeah.
talking to some retailers, and they felt, oh, it occupies too much space. It's okay.
Yeah. No,
We'll
that
sell
is
it
such a
online.
yeah, that's such a good idea because and the space doesn't make sense because sometimes you buy these tubes of things that are in such a huge box and then you open it up and it's like,
It's a
oh,
tiny, I agree. But you see, it's how we've been conditioned. And this is where
yeah,
I agreed with you and Justin. We've been conditioned by these big corporations
yeah,
to have things in a particular way.
yeah,
And that because it's useful for the pipelines, for the making pipelines. What I'm suggesting to do is a little bit more personalized,
yeah,
and it's less commercially sort of practical,
yeah.
but it makes you feel special.
Makes yeah, it makes it and it makes complete sense. And of
Yeah,
course, the ladies who are buying your products are obviously taking a step to reduce how much they're using on their face,
exactly.
how much wastage. And then straight away, they've got their face cloth to skip all of the 20 cleansing routines to wash your face with water and the face
Oh,
cloth.
if that's, yeah, if that's exactly it. You can use the cleanser, but if you don't want to use a cleanser, just use the face cloth with
Yeah,
warm. So it comes down to the other thing. And there's nothing instant about this. You hear about this on social media. I instantly my skin looks better. Well, every time I hear that, I feel it irks me because it takes 28 days in a young skin for the bottom of your epidermis, for the cells in the germinal layer to come up to the top, the squamous layer. So how can it change instantly? Of course, you can put a foundation that makes it look better. And
yeah,
often I see these females, these influencers on social media, they're applying products, but they've got makeup underneath. I can
yes,
tell.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's
it's
one thing that I make sure. So I share. So I do face yoga exercises
oh yeah,
with without the intention. So my intention as well, and I always say it's not anti-aging. It's not to get rid of any wrinkles. It's the mindset. It's the self-love that you're showing to your face, like you said. And so I try not to mention. I don't use anti-aging anyway. I would say support aging because I don't think we should be anti something that i- is happening. It's like being
it is a normal, yeah,
anti-daylight. It's really, I mean, oh, I'm anti-sunrise or I'm anti-sunset. You know, it's going to
yeah.
happen. So we shouldn't be against it. So I share face yoga exercises to, focusing on let's release the lymphatic drainage. Let's release that stress
Oh
from our
yes, yes,
jaw.
yes,
Relax your face.
yeah.
If a side effect of that is that you start to notice less wrinkles because you're relaxing your face and you're not holding, and
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
is that you start to see your jaw because you're not, a lot of the jaw and this is
yeah,
posture.
and yeah, exactly. This kind of
Yeah.
you hold the tension up here.
Yeah. So a lot of it is that. So I teach face yoga from that point of view, and it's all about loving your face. And when I'm sharing that as well, and what are you putting on your skin, what you're putting into your body, like you don't need all of these fancy overpriced hydrating
No,
creams. How much water are you drinking? Can you
yes,
eat
yes,
more cucumber, watermelon, peaches? All of these things are so great for your skin. Like having a look at what you're putting on your skin and what can you reduce there to what goes, what you're putting in your body. And I think everything that you've said today also is along those lines of learning about actually what does our skin really need, not what we've been
mm,
conditioned to think. And as women, we're told that we need all of that. I've spoken about cellulite cream before, but that is a perfect example of something that we do
mm.
not need, that you cannot get rid of cellulite with a cream.
No,
And
that's right.
yeah, and
Yeah,
there's
that's
other things.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
lymphatic drainage, it's diet, it's are you having a little bit too much salt? But and you'll probably know better than I read the cellulite, obviously it's always been a thing, and women had cellulite, and it was really no one even thought like, oh, what is this on my legs until I'll probably get the date wrong, the 60s, late 50s, and they posted it in Vogue and said,
Yes.
oh, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to have this, or we don't
Yeah.
like this. So
Yeah.
now, and then from then it was like, okay, let's create all of these things to make women hate what they have.
Massage, yeah, massage cream. But at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. It's drinking enough water so you detox. And even with lemon and ginger
Yeah,
because they're
yeah,
such good activators, metabolic activators. Um, and having exercise, not sitting too often on our bottoms.
yeah,
So go for a walk and special exercises and diet. It won't happen overnight.
yeah,
It won't happen over a week and maybe not even over 4 weeks. So, but you can do it. You
yeah.
definitely can. But by putting on a cream to try and to try and remove it. It's actually fallacious because I don't because I'm at home because it's so late, so I'm not in the studio. Otherwise, I would show you. I have a number of maps that show how the layers of fat and muscles are distributed, say, on our face, and our body is the same, and they're all layered. And so all of that accumulation is not superficial, it's quite deep. You're not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be removing it. I mean, that is so uninformed, but
Yeah.
people believe it because we're so eager to take, oh, I just want to look like Gwyneth Paltrow or
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, and you don't know they have a different constitution to
Yeah.
you, the different skeleton. They probably have always been thin or have whatever body they have. So
Yeah.
rather understand what kind of body type are you? Are
Yeah.
you thick boned, thin boned? So there's going to be some elements like I've always have had the complex that my face is too round. I've got a strong jaw. It's just the way it is. I mean, short of having major plastic surgery, I'm not going to change that. So I
Yeah.
had just to get over it, just you do your hair and you do, so you take your eyes away from the parts you don't like. But
Yeah.
you can't change things, and that cellulite thing, it's actually quite important for
Yeah.
people to realize how fictitious that is. And the other thing is that bear in mind the models that they put in on those adverts for those creams are also not the average person, and
Yeah.
often the pictures are very well photoshopped.
Thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this
Oh,
conversation. Thank you very much. Welcome to Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it.